Hello and welcome back everyone. My name's Keith and I'm recently retired, and this is my YouTube video channel called Recently Retired. That's my ID card photo over there. No, it's not. Well, we spoke in recent videos about preparing for retirement, and we went in some detail into the financial aspects and how to get all your financial ducks in a row. And we talked about pensions and other matters. And I promised this time that I would touch upon hobbies, because hobbies are extremely important. They're extremely important in retirement because, well, they fill in two major purposes. The first one being, you find yourself with a lot of time on your hands. That sounds obvious. It also sounds like a yippee moment, which of course it is. But filling in that time and filling it in productively is very important. It's very important because, firstly, it keeps you mentally astute. It gives you something to think about. You're thinking about your hobby, you're thinking about when you're going to do it and how you're going to do it. And that stops you stagnating, really. And, of course, it fills in the time. You find yourself with the gift of more time. The old story is you can never get time back, but you really do feel as if you can get time back when you retire. You have time first thing in the morning, instead of dashing to get showered and dressed and out in time, and then sitting in the car or on the train and doing the morning commute, and then all the hours you spend at your job, and then getting home, and of course winding down a little bit. It takes a while after your working day before you're really into your home mind and not finishing off your job while you're with your kids or your partner or whatever. So finding a hobby is very important, and I realized that perhaps even a year before I retired. And so what I did was I started to think about what I would do, and I looked at a number of things, but the one I've decided on is really a bit weird, and that's partly one of the reasons why I'm doing it. Because I've done golf. I think when I was a teenager I did stamp collecting. I've done all of those ordinary ones, but I decided I would do something which was a bit weird, and then I could learn about it, and it would take me a while to become good at it, etc. And I've decided that I will become a fossil preparer. Yes, a fossil preparer. And what that is, and I've got some of the tools of the trade around me just to show you what it is I'm talking about. I'm going to do this very quickly, not really to try to get you to become a fossil preparer, although that would be excellent, but really just to show you the sort of things I needed to think about. I started from scratch, and the level of tools that I bought, the amount it all cost, which wasn't very much, but I'm going to explain all that to you as we go along. So I'm going to begin with, okay, fossil preparer, what is that? Tell me, Keith, what's that all about? So it always begins with a rock. This is quite simply a limestone rock. I have others. They are rocks. Okay, now this one in my right hand is quite interesting because you can see that there is a circle around here, and that is indicative of the outside of an ammonite, and this is the rock that it sits in. So what is an ammonite? What's this all about? An ammonite is a sea creature which lived about 185 million years ago. 185 million years ago. That's astounding. And they died, they fell to the bottom of the sea, the sediment fell on top of them, and they became encased in rocks like this. And these rocks can be small and flat as this one, or they can be much larger. When they're larger and about the size of a large grapefruit, for example, then they're called nodules. These are rocks or pebbles. They're so much more smaller. I just wonder, if you did a course on this, would the training course have within it a nodule module? I'm starting to wish I hadn't said that, but I could edit it out. So how do you get to the fossil inside the rock? Right, there's really only one or two ways, and that is, so if this is the nodule, this is the rock, I need to split it in this direction, down the narrow side, because I want it to fall apart into two halves. And you do that either with a hammer. This is a geologist's hammer. It's a hybrid, really. It's a geologist's hammer, and it has the ability to pry out nails on the back. And it could be just the hammer, or a hammer and chisel, just getting this in sight for you. So this is a small chisel, this is a small hammer. I've got larger ones of both in case I ever come across any larger rocks, but that's how you open a 185 million year old rock. And you got to remember, it's a rock, okay? You're not gonna hurt it. Well, you could do, but. So what happens when you crack a rock open? Well, hopefully this happens. And inside the rock, you see the beginnings of an ammonite. Okay, I'll do this so that the camera focuses in on it. The light's working very well there. And so you see the inside of the rock, and it can look like this. And that's where the hobby comes in. I then begin to clean away the rock that's on top of the fossil to reveal this beautiful millions of years old animal inside. And so how do I go about that? Right, you need some tools of some sort. Now remember, I am a very small-time hobbyist, therefore I don't have the semi-professional workshops of some of the people who do this for a living. They work mainly on pneumatic tools, so you need an air compressor and air handling equipment, etc. I haven't gone to that stage at all yet. So at the moment, all you've seen me spend is a geologist's hammer and a chisel, which are readily available, and I think the pair of them would be maybe £10. And that gets you to an open rock. After that, what do you do? Well, I'll show you two separate tools. The first I'll show you is this, which, as you can see, is a Dremel. This is a rotary tool. Now, a rotary tool means that whatever bit you have in the end here will revolve in a clockwise direction between 5 and 35,000 revolutions per minute. This is a diamond cutting disc, and it will cut through rock. I'm going to turn it on. Put your hands over your ears. So that's the Dremel, that's the cutting disc spinning. That will, if I wanted it to, that would cut very easily into this rock. And of course, what that would do is make it much more easy to ping off and lift off and get through to the fossil inside. When you're near to the fossil inside, you then need to switch tools. That big Dremel, with its 35,000 RPM, is a bit of a brute. It will cut into anything. But once you get that fossil revealed, you are then looking at something with a little bit more finesse, and that is this, which is also a Dremel tool, but this is their small engraving tool. And you can see, I'm just going to bring it here, and hopefully you can see the bit on the end of that. Now this is a special tip, and this will, I'm at the dentist. This will, with a sort of pneumatic drill type of movement, this will chip away at the smaller pieces of rock that are left and allow you to do some very fine work in and around what are called the swirls of the ammonite. So in and around here, in and around here. I've revealed all of these. These were all full of rock. So I got to this part, but with a covering using the big rotary tool, then with the engraver. I'm still working on this. Now in here, I'm in my workshop, and in here I've got maybe a dozen or so rocks at different levels of preparation. What's this one? Oh, this one's quite nice. You can see when I opened this, it didn't split cleanly down the middle and go into two halves, but it did leave me with enough of an ammonite, because remember I'm a hobbyist, it left me with enough to work on. So that's what happens. You work your way through until the ammonite is revealed, and then you can dress the stone around it. You can add a polish. There's a great many ways that you can do it. But in this hobby, it's very important that I tell you about the safety aspects. It's not parachuting or something like that, but that you do have to think about the safety aspects because, and I've got 3 types of safety equipment on my right here that I'm going to show you, probably in descending orders of priority. Number 1, goggles. I wear these goggles, or any type of goggle, before I do any work with any tool on a piece of rock. Because almost the first thing that happens as soon as you touch a tool to a piece of rock is a piece of rock flies off. But of course that's what you're doing it for anyway. And as luck would have it, it will fly directly towards your eye, and then it'll go in your eye and kill you. No, it won't kill you, but it will be very sore, and it might even make you blind. So you always wear eye protection. Before you do anything, put your eye protection on. It's very, very important. It doesn't matter what medium you're using. If you're not working on a rock, because that small Dremel, the engraver, with that you can work on glass, you can put designs on glass, you can do it on wood, you can work on leather, any of these. They will all shoot little bits off, and I think it's the law of the universe is that they'll continue to go into your eye. Many, many times, and I mean hundreds of times, when I've had these goggles on, you hear ping, ping, ping as bits of rock are hitting them and bouncing off, and they would have gone into your eyes otherwise. Now, thinking specifically about working with rock, not necessarily wood or whatever, as soon as you start drilling into rock and it starts flicking off, of course, it comes off in a powder. It's a terrible thing, and so you need to use a mask. This is quite a nice hobbyist mask, nice and padded here, goes around the back of the head. It's not an old COVID mask, but then again, it still is only another £5 or so. So just keeping up with the costs, we had a tenner or so on the hammer and chisel. The 2 Dremels are something in the region of, in total, they're less than £100, a lot less than £100, 70 or 80, say, for both of them. And they come with a lot of tips, that diamond cutting bit, and the hydraulic jackhammer sort of thing. And you can build up a really good store of those to do a number of jobs. Now I've got a beautiful set here, which was a gift, and you can see up at the top over here you have drill bits, and you also have grinding discs, and down in the bottom there you have sanding drums and various other parts of tools that you can do with. You can practice lots and lots of different types of DIY with those 2 tools. And I'll just point out here, I'm not doing a Dremel advert. It's just that these, I've tried a few others. These have been the best ones. and there seemed to be value for money so far. So that's about it. So the two of them, I really can't remember the price, but let's say they were £40 and £30 or something like that. So it's not a lot of money. And then the safety equipment, the goggles, a couple of pounds. You can get those from anywhere. The mask, same, couple of pounds. A little bit more expensive are these. And you can imagine, hello, I can't hear you. Yes, yep, that's okay. These are noise cancelling headphones. And if you're working on a rock continually for an hour or so, you really do need a pair of these. It's noisy. You've stopped the dust getting into your lungs. You've stopped lumps of rock getting into your eyes. And this is really the next thing. These are a very good pair. These were a gift. They're not only noise cancelling, but they're Bluetooth. So along here, you've got all the various, I think this is the on-off button or the volume control. So with these, I can wear them, have the noise cancelling effect, and also listen to the radio while I'm doing it. So in terms of protection, that's really all I would say you need. I do have other things. For example, I wear a silly hat, which is hung up behind you. I wear a silly hat when I'm doing my fossil preparation because the air fills with dust, which means my hair fills with dust. And then after every session, I have to go and shower off. So just to save myself, I put a hat on, which makes me look like I'm going to an Oasis concert, which I never would. I also have, this is wonderful, look, this is a full mask. I believe that you can still hear me because I did practice this the other day. This stops the rocks getting through. It's actually pockmarked from it being hit. And the bottom here has a filter to keep the dust out. So that, apart from ruining your hair, that is a very good protection as well. So safety, okay? So you need tools to open your rock, hammer and chisel. You need tools to begin to dress your rock. So something in the lines of a rotary tool, diamond tip cutter, and then an engraving tool. These are the entry-level tools. Last summer, I think it was, I went to see a chap who's called the Fossil Academy. Very good guy, and he teaches in his own workshop. You can go along for half a day and he will teach you how to do a lot of this. And he has pneumatic tools, which are much more powerful than the two that I've just shown you. But of course, it's a much greater investment, and that's the next step. And one of the points of showing you what I have is to say, you can do this hobby. You can make your own fossils, prepare them, and they look fantastic for very little initial outlay. But then you can take it to other levels, and that's terrific. Now, Fossil Academy has a terrific YouTube channel, which you may want to subscribe to as well. You see him, he's very much a fossil collector because he lives down near the Jurassic coast in Dorset, and he goes out on the beach and collects his own rocks. And so you see him getting up early in the morning in all weathers, going down to the beach, collecting the raw materials, and then back into the workshop. You see him open the rocks and then work on them to the finished product. It's very interesting. It's what inspired me. It's why I'm sitting here now. Now, I don't want to take you any further through this. I hope that what I've done is I've shown you that get a hobby, think about it, get enough kit to do it properly and to really grab your attention. Leave room for expansion, but let it plant a seed of thought into your brain so that you're thinking about it, you're thinking about how you do it and why you do it and what you're getting out of it. And that really is what you need when you are recently retired. Now, I'm going to come back soon with another video, and that will probably be about other aspects of hobbyists. I won't touch on this one. What I will do is I'll actually talk about YouTube channels, because of course doing this channel is another hobby. It builds a layer on top of doing the fossils. So I'll talk about how I went about doing this. Again, what simple kit do you need to start? I mean, I'm already away. I'm doing my YouTube channel. This is now my 4th or 5th video. Thank you very much for watching it. Please subscribe. Please like if you do. And I hope to come back very shortly with another video for you to watch. Thank you. Bye-bye.